Before- So today we'll discuss a few more things about HTML and we'll jump into the basics of CSS, like how much we'll use for LWC. We'll discuss the very basics of CSS as well. So I think now keep that as is. Open Notepad. Chalo. So now yesterday we discussed the basics of HTML and today we'll discuss types of like elements, HTML elements. So coming to the tags, we are dividing HTML elements into two types: block level elements. The second type of elements are inline elements. So the difference between both the things is coming to the black level elements. If we define this type of tags, like it will always starts with a new line. Whereas coming to the inline elements, always this will be starts with end of the previous line. Okay. So if you see the differences, you'll understand clearly. Initially, I'll write the example tags for this one. The most famous tag is the div tag. After this, we'll be having paragraph tag. After this, we'll be having like all the heading tags also behaves like this only. H1 to H6, every heading tag. H1 swan dash. These are the heading tags. Along with the heading tags, we'll be having list tag, whatever we seen yesterday, and we'll be having article tag. So these are the mainly noun tags of block level elements, and header also belongs to this type only. Okay, these are the block level elements. Whereas the best example for inline elements are the anchor tag, which we discussed yesterday. Along with the anchor tag, we'll be having image tag and the strong tag. Okay, these tags are majorly said as inline elements. Okay, we'll see the examples with the both the things so that you will understand the differences much clearly. Okay, we'll see the differences now with the examples. So prior to that, I'll keep this everything in a comments. Okay. Okay, but this remaining like complete code in the comments. So to comment the code in a HTML, what you can do is you can select the complete code once. Like this, you can select the code. Sorry, I'm selecting body as well. I don't want to select body. Okay. In this, you can press on control and click slash so that the complete code will be commented. Control and slash. You have to click this one. I'll write that here. Control plus you have to type this one to comment all the lines. So if you want to comment this line only, control slash I'm clicking. Okay. In HTML, comments will be written in this syntax, like a comment structure will be this thing. Okay. Like this, you have to specify comments. Now what I'll do is I'll define few tags to make you understand this stuff. So if I save this thing, if you see, this will be refreshed. There is no content in a HTML. Now what I'll do is here I'll update some content. Okay. So I'll take one div tag. Okay. In this div tag, hey, hi, welcome to session. Like this, I'm writing some text and I'm saving this one. You can see one line got added. Now what I'll do is again I'll take another div tag. In this, I'll write something more text. Hello, I'm second div. Okay, again I'm saving this one. You can see the text got updated. You can see some text is splitting because of this as it is overwriting that. So now it will show properly. Now I'll take paragraph tag. Hello, I'm paragraph. Okay, I'm saving this one. You can see like whatever the thing you are writing in a block level elements, those are coming in a new line. Always they are starting with new line. And coming to the next type of tags, we saw like a strong tag and bold tag we are having, right? Sorry, strong, anchor, and image tags. We'll see that stuff now. Now what I'll do is, inside this paragraph will write, or like shall I write it outside the paragraph? Okay, I'll write it inside the paragraph only in the HTML. Okay, we'll see how it will impact. Let's suppose what I'll do is initially I'll write strong tag after this yeah, div tag. So let's suppose here I'll try to write strong tag and I'll write some text. In this strong tag, I'll write am line element. I'm saving this one. You can see like hey I'm an inline element, it is coming in a separate line. After this strong tag, what I'll do is I'll write anchor tag. Okay, I'll define anchor tag. Capital A to sorry, anchor tag small a specify. Okay. Anchor tag. In this, I'll write click new. And here we have to specify href equals to, here I'll specify same URL like whatever we have given previously. I'm copy pasting same thing. See, if you see this one, so click me, it is not starting in new line if you observe. So wherever we wrote a strong tag, immediately after at the end of the strong tag, this href is starting. Okay, so you have to understand like that. So all this inline element will starts with end of the previous tags line. Whereas coming to the external, sorry, what are this type of elements? Block level elements. Always they will start with a new line. These are the very basics of HTML, which are enough for HTML, like for LWC. So if you want to understand much deeper, like if you won't have any knowledge on HTML, you can go through W3 schools and you can recap all the tags. You can read there and you can do small assessments there so that you'll get to know more on HTML. Now we'll start with CSS. Okay, we'll start with CSS. So coming to the CSS, CSS stands for Cascade Style Sheet. Okay, the purpose of this CSS is to beautify HTML. Will use CSS. It means like for the text, if you want to add some color, if you want to increase the font size, or like if you want to do some alignment, on such cases, we'll use CSS. So for any HTML tag, if you want to add CSS, we need to follow a specific syntax. So whenever you want to write some CSS property to any tag, we have to follow the specific syntax. The structure is very simple. Initially, we have to specify a selector. Don't worry, I'll explain you all this stuff very briefly. Okay. Then next here we have to specify a property. After this, we have to specify a property. And after this property, for this property, we have to pass a value to this property. It's a structure to define a CSS for any attribute, any tag we can say. Okay. So property means like let's suppose border or like a font size or color, like this will be having different properties. For that properties, whatever the value you have to assign, you can assign that. Coming to the selector, it might be a tag, or it might be a like class name, or it might be a ID. Okay. Based on the scenario, like let's suppose if you have tag like this, let's suppose if you have paragraph tag. So if it is a paragraph tag, in this you might have some text. Hello, like this, you might have paragraph. So for this paragraph, if you want to add a color, what you will do is simply, so we have to define a, sorry. So what we have to do is selector means here we have to define a paragraph. For this, if you want to change a color, we have to specify color. And for this, whatever the value you have to give that value. Like this, we have to define the property. So it's a simple example to define like any property, any CSS, to give any CSS to any HTML tag. Likewise, like we can give like in like we'll be having different ways to give a CSS to any HTML tag. So first approach is like we can give to the tag directly. So if we want to give a CSS to tag directly, we'll use this syntax. Okay. Sometimes for any like sometimes for elements will be use ID selectors. Okay. Means like in this, like let's suppose if we say ID equals to, let's suppose if we have ID equals to username, let's suppose I'm having ID for this one. At the time, if you want to use, like I'll copy paste this line so that it will be much convenient to you. Okay, I'll keep it at the bottom. Okay, so let's suppose if this HTML tag is having ID. At the time, if you want to define CSS for that one, we have to start the paragraph tag with hash symbol. Like not para, not we should not specify P now. So we have to give a CSS with the ID. So you might get a doubt like why can't we give with a paragraph tag? So the purpose is, so whenever you give paragraph, it won't change for only this paragraph tab. So tag. Mostly like in a HTML, like while writing HTML, we might use P tag in a multiple places. So if you give a styling like this, wherever the paragraph tag is present, everywhere it will changes with the red color. Whereas if you define ID in this and if you give color property now, so for the specific paragraph which is having ID equals to username, there only it will change the color to red. Remaining paragraphs color will say as is. They won't change by default directly. Okay. Likewise, let's suppose if you want to give a CSS for any class. So let's suppose now I'm replacing this ID with a class. Let's suppose if you have a class with a username. For this class, if you want to give a styling, we have to use this notation. Dot username notation. Okay. If this is clear to you, like we'll discuss this thing practically now. Okay. Like we'll see from the scratch. Okay. So now whenever you want to include CSS to your code, like what we need to do is like initially we'll create a one style tag in our yeah, like one style file